Welcome to the SeeItNow podcast, a 15-minute review of a movie near you. My name is Michael, and I'm a filmmaker.
I'm Don, and I'm a film teacher, sometimes screenwriter.
We have our Oscar-nominated Best Picture See It Now Extravaganza podcast coming up. And Don, how are we going to do this?
How we're going to do is we're going to get rid of 6 of them right off the bat because they don't belong. We go top 4, final 4, March Madness.
It's going to be a March Madness See It Now podcast extravaganza. Let's cue the Grateful Dead.
Saint Stephen with a rose, in and out of the garden he goes. Country garland in the wind and the rain.
So we are going to review 6 real quickly, and then we are going to debate over the final 4. Don, how do we review our films?
Just tell you what they're about and give you a quick number of what we think they're worth and to say see it now or not see it now.
We review on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being not so good, 10 being amazing. My 1 is Attack of the Clones, the Star Wars Episode 2. And my 10 is There Will Be Blood.
My 1 is Maverick, the Tom Cruise movie. I walked out, I couldn't deal with it. My 10 is Aguirre, Wrath of God.
We want to give you all a chance to understand whether you should see this movie or not. First movie we have, Don, is The Holdovers by Alexander Payne. Don, what is The Holdovers about?
It's about being stuck at school over the holidays at a shishi private school in the 1970s, starring Paul Giamatti and a kid that stuck with him.
There were many moments where I was wondering, why do I care? I give it a 3 out of 10. Don't see it now.
I concur, 3 out of 10. There's so many things about it that were just absolute dead ends. Paul Giamatti drinks a lot, which is that's not even addressed. And so a lot of other characters. That's the only thing I liked about it. 3 out of 10. Don't see it now.
American Fiction by Cord Jefferson. Don, what is this movie about?
It's about a guy that's a writer, African-American, and he's a great writer, but no one understands him, so he decides to write a book that is much more black, and he does it as a joke, and he turns into a sensational author because of it.
American Fiction is a valiant effort to discuss the experience of an artist trying to get published, but the holes in the larger picture makes this film a total dud for me. Great performance, but the script fell short. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Don't go see it now.
This film is not worth seeing, exactly as Mike said. I would give it a 3 out of 10. I think it's the same as Holdovers in terms of character development and anything. I had no idea what the point of any of the characters were. It was garbled right to the end, and through the meta justifications, not worth it. Don't see it now.
Maestro by Bradley Cooper.
It's a biopic of the great composer Leonard Bernstein, played by Bradley Cooper.
This film is incredibly well acted, well shot, and generally well designed. Great makeup. An all-style over substance film. I give this film a 6 out of 10. If you're a film head, see it now. If you're not, don't go see it now.
I would say E for effort. And this time I'd say a treble clef for effort. I would give it a 5 out of 10. All style, no substance. Don't see it now.
Next movie we got, Don, is Barbie by Greta Gerwig. Don, what's this movie about?
It's about Mattel selling Barbie dolls.
Now, this is a surrealist homage to the feminist movement, which I enjoyed, but I'm having a hard time getting past the corporate nature of the film, brought to you by Mattel. I'd have to say this. In 1990, Edward Scissorhands did not get nominated. This film is not as good as Edward Scissorhands, despite the surrealist kind of Tim Burton-esque style that Greta Gerwig plays with. This is a 6 out of 10. I would say see it now. See it now.
The projector broke when I was watching it, and I was like, I should get out of here, and I didn't. I regret that decision. There's a moment when Barbie says, do you have thoughts about dying? And I did during the film. I would give it a 2 out of 10. Never want to see that film again. Do not see it now.
We have Anatomy of a Fall by Justine Triet. Don, what's this movie about?
A man falls out of the top of a chalet. Did he fall, or did his wife push him?
I'm honestly surprised he wasn't nominated for the international feature.
Should have been.
Beautiful film, great performances. Kind of loses me a bit in the court scenes. And I was waiting for the Edward Norton Primal Fear moment, but the film kind of just peters out for me. I would say it's about a 7.5 out of 10. I would say see it now. This is a good movie.
I agree with you. I think it's a really well done film. Drags on a little bit for me. I think 7.5 is a little bit high, 6.5. Question of whether she pushes him out or he falls out. I don't really care. The character that died was such a jerk, and die was what I was thinking. But beautifully acted, although I don't understand the courtroom scenes at all. The French judicial system, it seems like You know, it's an insane surrealistic experience. So that I was interested in, but didn't understand. Maybe see it now if there's nothing else out.
Past Lives by Celine Song. Don, what is this movie about?
This is about meeting, knowing somebody when you're young and having a really good connection with them, and then falling out of touch with them for many years, reconnecting, falling out of touch again, reconnecting again.
It's exquisitely executed. In the middle, it kind of loses me as well for no real reason to support the characters. There were so many positive things about this film, including the acting and some of the filmic stuff. But I would say 7.5 out of 10, and I would say go see it now.
I agree. I really liked the opening. I was really intrigued. The middle act really lost me because there's the characters in different countries, and there's lots of scenes of them looking at each other on screens, on Zoom screens or whatever chat screens. And, you know, I went through COVID and I did all this stuff. I don't want to see a movie where they're doing it as well. So I didn't like that part. But the first and the ending were very interesting, and I really liked that aspect to it. I'd say a 6.5, and I do say see it now. That's a decent film.
So we've eliminated the first 6 films. We have the final 4 films. Now, we have ranked them 1 through 4, and we're going to start with our 4th choice.
We have different rankings. Let's be clear.
Poor Things by Yorgos Lanthimos, Killers of the Flower Moon by Martin Scorsese, Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan, and Zone of Interest by Jonathan Glazer. Those 4 films, we believe, could easily win the Oscar. Any of those 4 films. My 4th movie out of those 4 is Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan. It's a film about the designing of the nuclear weapon. Cillian Murphy is the lead. He is absolutely spectacular. He should win the Best Actor. I think there are some moments where I get lost a little bit when they kind of cut to this other black and white scene that they keep playing with. The only part that I would kind of take it or leave it. But otherwise, it's an excellent movie. It is my 4th in that list.
I think it's an excellent film as well. It's a little bit long and complicated unnecessarily, and the sound design is a little bit over the top, so it goes really quiet and really loud. The visuals are stunning, and the sound is amazing. I had it at 3rd. One I had a little bit lower down, Killers of the Flower Moon by Martin Scorsese, which is a great story of the exploitation of the Osage people in the early 20th century, of course, by good old white American males. And, you know, beautifully portrayed and fantastic story, but 4 hours is way too long a film, and it should have been down about an hour, and way more Lily Gladstone and way less DiCaprio and De Niro.
I disagree. I would have taken 5 hours of DiCaprio. I would take 5 hours of De Niro, and then I would take 5 hours of Lily Gladstone. Give me a 15-hour Killers of the Flower Moon. I thought it was a fantastic film. I had it at 3rd. Killers of the Flower Moon really proves just how fucking incredible Martin Scorsese is. He has to be the most woke 85-year-old man out there. Definitely go see it now. Okay, so the last 2 movies, we have Poor Things and The Zone of Interest. One of these is an Oscar winner, according to us, and one of them isn't. Don, who do you have winning the Oscar this year?
I love Poor Things. I mean, we actually reviewed it a little while ago, and I wasn't as keen, but the more I think about it, the more compelling the cinematography, the development of Emma Stone. It's just a great retelling of the Frankenstein myth, and there's so much to go back over. For me, a great film is a film you want to see again. And I know this is the kind of film that I'm going to want to see again many times. And so therefore, I think Poor Things is highly deserving of the Best Picture this year.
I really couldn't agree more. I would say see it now. If you've not seen it, see it tonight if you can. For my Best Picture, The Zone of Interest. This is a film about a family living on the outskirts of Auschwitz concentration camp. And it's about the designer. You do not see anything going on in the concentration camp except for one shot, and it is pure evil. The sound design is spectacular. The performances by all the actors are spectacular. It is a masterpiece, and it is one of the darkest films I've ever seen, and that is a good thing. It is a horror film. Never seen the Holocaust portrayed that in this manner. I would say go see it now tonight. Not a day film.
It's a horror in the daylight. And the night scenes are actually the most comforting scenes about closing doors and going to bed and being happy going to bed. The machine keeps churning and the bodies keep burning, and we don't see any of it.
Both Poor Things and The Zone of Interest are spectacular. We actually might do another podcast on Zone of Interest.
Oh my God! The thing we didn't do that I want to throw in there is May December not being nominated. May December is a phenomenal film, excellent performances, excellent cinematography, compelling story, and I don't understand. So Todd Haynes is like somehow excluded from Hollywood. I mean, it's like Scorsese in the 70s. Like, why is this film excluded?
Why is this movie not nominated? Screenplay adaptation is the only thing May December is nominated for, and this film is worth your time. It's a See It Now film, 8 out of 10, at least.
I agree with you, 8 out of 10. Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore, wonderful job, and this Charles Melton. Oh, maybe Charles Melton was nominated for Best Supporting?
You know,
Check.
none of them were nominated.
No, that's
Not
insane.
the performances are incredible. I don't know what he did politically.
Some
He did
bad.
something. He did something. I think May December would have been our 5th in our top 5.
It would have been our 5th. And it might have even, it would have topped Killers of the Flower Moon for me.
It might have actually done that for me. I think it definitely would have topped Oppenheimer for me. But
Yep. It's a good film, and I don't know where it's gone.
that's really weird. To keep with one of the long-standing motifs of the pod, I suppose I could ask you, what do you have for lunch today?
There's a huge line at the cafeteria for tacos, and I'm like, I'm not going that line. So I had a big salad with egg and some jalapeno peppers, and it was actually pretty good.
I had some scrambled eggs and some bacon, along with a coffee and a glass of water. It was pretty back to basics. A little bourbon in the eggs. No, just kidding. This is the See It Now podcast, a 15-minute review of a movie near you. We are going to be reviewing more movies in the future. My name is Michael. I'm a filmmaker.
I'm Don, and I'm a film teacher, screenwriter.
Let's cue those guys from The Grateful.
Grateful Dead. Let's go to the Sphere. Let's book our tickets. I mean, the tickets are going to be insane.
Say fuck
here.
Say fuck John Mayer again, and I'll say let's cue The Grateful Dead.
Oh yeah, fuck John Mayer. Can't deal with that guy.
Let's cue The Grateful Dead.
Saint Stephen with a rose, in and out of the garden he